Imagine that your ability to stop everything you are doing and listen with your entire being is the difference between surviving or not. Today, we are diving into Black Americans, Morphic resonance, and survival. So, if you've spent any time in Black culture, whether online or in person, I'm sure you have heard the rule. If a Black person hears a strange noise in the night, they stop everything they're doing and they're listening with their whole entire being, okay? Their whole soul, all right? It's funny, but it's also widely accepted as the right response to an unidentified sound. And if you do not believe me, I've attached some clips for your viewing pleasure. I am not messing with it either. Okay? A bump in the night. Excuse me. Excuse me. I think not. This is not consensual. And I know this personally, okay? I've caught myself listening with my entire body as if I was hearing beyond my physical being, beyond my physical ear capacities, almost like spatial hearing, like I'm trying to sense proximity, direction, and danger all at once. Is this some special auditory ability that we have? Or is this an act of embodied hearing? Is that what that looks like? For me, it feels like shutting down every sense and channeling all my attention into sound, almost like hearing through space and time. So the question becomes, why do we do this? Why is this such a common cultural response? I have a theory, okay? And the theory that I would like to introduce is morphic resonance. Morphic resonance, a theory coined by Rupert Sheldrake. It's defined as a process whereby self organizing systems inherit a memory from previous similar systems. Memory need not be stored in the material traces inside brains. Each individual inherits a collective memory from past members of the species and also contributes to the collective memory. Now, I know this theory seems kind of out there, a little wild. It's my personal favorite theory, okay? So I digress. But there is so much validity to this theory. Possessing that natural systems inherit a kind of collective memory from the past organisms of that collective makes sense, especially when we're leaning into non local consciousness and this collective memory or collective knowing, so to speak. Something that shapes behavior and patterns and responses. Because there's something going on here. And if you're having a little bit of a challenge fully wrapping your mind around this theory, there is an experiment that was held using cattle. Let's dive into it. In the American West, ranchers discovered that painted fake cattle grids, striped patterns on the road, could stop cattle just as effectively as real steel grids, even though there were no physical barrier. Remarkably, naive cattle with no prior exposure to real grids also avoided the painted versions. This phenomenon was later investigated by researchers, including Dr. Ted Friend at Texas A&M University and colleagues at Colorado State University, who tested several hundred cattle using simple water-based paint, flour, and egg. They confirmed that naive cattle avoided the painted grids, just like experienced ones. Sheep and horses also showed similar avoidance, though pigs did not. Rupert Sheldrake interprets these results as evidence of morphic resonance. Cattle may inherit the avoidance habit through a collective memory of past members, transmitted via fields that influence behavior across time and space, rather than learning it individually. While alternative explanations include learning from experienced herd members or an intrinsic aversion to visual cliffs, these are less consistent with the data. The illusion can be broken if cattle are pressured in or tempted with food, and environmental conditions, such as mud, can reduce its effectiveness. I really hope you enjoyed the image of the cow chewing. It was my personal favorite. That's why I included it, okay? But I digress. Let's focus on the topic at hand. So, if this sort of inherent pattern can exist in natural systems, as we heard with cattle, then it is very possible that a similar adaptive pattern can develop as a tool for survival in Black Americans, a tool that was passed down, or a pattern that was passed down through generations. But what would have required Black American ancestors to develop such an intense and embodied listening? What environment would demand that level of auditory perception? If you guessed slavery, then you're absolutely correct. Enslaved people had to rely heavily on their senses, especially sound, to navigate danger and stay alive. Every unexpected sound could mean survival, capture, or death. The ability to sense distance in the dark, to identify what caused a sound, to know whether to run, hide, or stay still. These are embodied skills that our ancestors adapted to, and that may have been carried forward through Black American lineage through something like morphic resonance. Let's take a moment and explore this article exploring enslaved people, and sound. In the audio essay titled Listening Below, Two Variation on Fugitive Sound by Michael LeVan, 2020, specific moments vividly illustrate embodied hearing and its cultural transmission. LeVan evokes heartbeat sounds and layers of infrasound that can only be felt but not heard, showing how attention to subtle, bodily perceived frequencies grounds awareness in survival. The essay also includes fugitive murmurs and songs of enslaved and incarcerated Black people, such as the faint recording of chain gang members singing Held On Yonder, highlighting how sound carried knowledge, resistance, and communal memory across generations. These examples show listening as a deeply embodied practice, and we can interpret this through the lens of Rupert Sheldrake's concept of morphic resonance, suggesting that such perceptual patterns may persist across generations, linking the survival strategies of the past to the embodied awareness of descendants today. That essay is really interesting, and I'll attach it as an attachment to the submission or just somewhere. So that way, if you're interested in listening to it, you have it available, because I highly recommend it. It's very fascinating. So while LeVan's essay does not explicitly mention morphic resonance, we can consider their examples through this lens. Rupert Sheldrake's theory possesses that patterns of perception, behavior, and habit can persist across generations as a kind of inherent memory within a collective field, without requiring DNA or written records. The embodied listening described by LeVan, heartbeat sounds, infrasound, and fugitive murmurs, can be seen as such patterns. These practices of attunement and survival, learned and felt through the body, may leave subtle resonance that persists in descendants today. Supporting embodied awareness can be transmitted across time in ways that echo Sheldrake's concept of morphic resonance. This is not to say that this ability only belongs to Black Americans. No, I'm not saying that at all. All I am saying is there's something to be said here. The fact that in pop culture, there's this phenomenon, and this phenomenon seems to link of or from the people of our past. And I encourage you to take a moment and think about your own lineage. What collective abilities do you carry that might reflect your ancestors' survival strategies? And if you want to be a little fancy today, I'm going to invite you into a meditative practice of engaging with our spatial hearing. So get comfy, Get some water if you'd like, and tune in for that portion now. Let us begin. A quick reminder, this is an autonomous practice. I'm going to be leading us through some breathing exercises, but at any point in time you don't feel like holding the breath or you want to breathe on your own, you're more than welcome to do so. I will be hitting my singing bowl, so if you're sensitive to sound, I also invite you to lower the volume. All right. Begin to soften your gaze or close your eyes if you care. We're going to begin by taking a couple of deep breaths in through our nose and exhaling. Taking a deep breath in and release. Let's take a deep breath in and let's hold it for 3, 2, 1. Drop the jaw, exhale. Taking a deep breath in through your nose. Drop the jaw, exhale. Taking a deep breath in, filling your belly full of air. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Drop the jaw, exhale. Taking a deep breath in, allowing your chest to fill with air. Take a deep breath in. Holding it for 3, 2, drop the jaw, release. Now for a moment, just allow yourself to be fully present in your body. Maybe making notice of any sensations you might be carrying, any tension in your body. You don't have to do anything with that information, just being observant. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale. And maybe we take a moment to focus in on our lower extremities. Can you feel the carpet or your shoes or wood underneath your feet? Or maybe the weight of your body on your thighs in your chair. Take a deep breath in and release. Moving our attention to the core, your central body. Making notice of any sensations felt here on the hips, the lower spine, the upper spine, your shoulders. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale. Finally, moving your attention to the upper portion of your body, your throat, your chin, your head. And we'll take a hyper focus to our ears. Take a deep breath in and release. Pausing for a moment. Focus all your attention on your ears. What do they feel like? What can you feel with them? Can you feel maybe headphones in your ears or on your ears, or a head wrap placed on your ears? Can you feel the sound around you? Take a deep breath in. Release. I invite you to take a moment and focus on all the sounds. The hum of your refrigerator or appliance, maybe kids playing in a distance. But let's stay here for just a moment. Taking a deep breath in and release. I invite you to offer gratitude for your sense of sound, for what is perceived and not perceived, what is heard and not heard, what is felt and, of course, not felt. And I extend the opportunity and offer to you to give yourself a nice squeeze or hug as a moment of gratitude for showing up to this practice. Begin to move your awareness back to your full body, wiggling your toes if you can, or your fingers, and maybe swaying as we connect to our present body again. Taking a deep breath in through your nose, holding it for just a moment. Drop the jaw, release. Take a deep breath in. Drop the jaw, release. And take a big breath in. And if you'd like on that release, allow it to be audible, release. And whenever you're ready, you can come back. I always feel real good after meditation. But in closing, it was absolutely wonderful exploring the concept of Black Americans, morphic resonance, and survival. I truly hope you found this presentation to be informative, engaging, or just fun, I guess. Until next time, wishing you a wonderful day. Bye-bye.